cut it out.
Okay.
So, political polarization is kind of a big deal now. The current presidential election has put a spotlight on just how extreme the difference between our two major parties is.
What are American parties really good for anyway? Besides, increasing the divide between the American public and forcing people to decide between two sides on multifaceted issues.
Parties are supposed to pick candidates, run campaigns, give cues to voters, articulate policies, coordinate policy making. Basically, they help the voters understand what a candidate's policy positions are, and they help the candidate formulate their policy platform. The two major parties tend to take opposing sides on most major issues.
And what if there are more than two opinions on an issue? That's what third parties are here for. Oh wait, what? They can almost never win an election due to our weird winner-take-all system.
Usually, third parties have a more extreme and specific stance than the major parties. They don't have a very wide audience, so they don't get a lot of support or have a very lasting effect on American politics. Remember the Bull Moose Party? Probably not. The only memorable thing about them was their name. Now, each party has its own platform, basically all the goals they hope to achieve and the principles it wants to follow. This is where you can look to find out how people in a party generally feel about certain issues. Of course, not everyone within a party shares the same opinions. There are definitely stereotypes and a certain kind of person associated with each party, but generally these stereotypes are pretty true. People are expected to conform to one party or the other, but ideas and opinions vary widely from person to person.
The people within each party might not always agree on everything, but there are majority opinions on most issues. The party majority will decide which politicians best represent their values and carry out their goals, and that's where elections come in. There are usually multiple people within the party who want to be the president. To decide which of them has the party's official support, they hold primaries and then conventions. So basically, after primaries, it's between two candidates.
Both parties have primary elections, or caucuses, to decide how many delegates each candidate gets at the National Party Convention, which is where they decide who the party's official nominee will be. Primaries are basically little mini-elections, where you vote for whichever candidate you like best. Some states have closed primaries where only registered members of the party can vote, and some have open primaries where anyone can vote.
Caucuses are different and more complicated. For one thing, there's a lot more shouting. At a caucus, you stand in a clump with other supporters of your favorite candidate. Candidates who don't have enough support are disqualified, and their supporters have to join other groups. It goes on like this until one candidate has a clear majority.
The nomination process, like many other aspects of American government, is unnecessarily complicated.
But at the end of it, each party has a chosen candidate to represent them in the presidential election.
Through debates and campaigning, these candidates compete to see who has the most popular ideas and the best leadership qualities. But a big part of success as a presidential candidate comes down to funding. Thanks to Citizens United and super PACs, corporations can make almost unlimited donations to candidates, as long as they say they're not affiliated with the campaign.
So they can spend money on TV ads, leaflets, and signs, as long as the fine print says that it wasn't from the candidate.
Super PACs supporting Donald Trump have spent over $53 million so far on his campaign.
Especially in local elections, the candidate who spends more money on their campaign usually wins, because most Americans don't pay much attention to local politics.
An exception to this was David Trone, who recently ran the most expensive primary House campaign ever. But he was defeated by Jamie Raskin, who won because he had a good reputation in the area and was able to raise a lot of money through grassroots campaigning.
As you can see, you need to make money to get political power in the U.S. I mean, most of the senators that represent us are pretty dang rich, but their salary from the government isn't actually that much.
All in all, political parties have had a complicated relationship with American politics. They serve as an important linkage institution within our government, while also being annoying and hard to deal with.
Not to mention constantly changing platforms and names.
Insert thing.
So next time you go to the polls, think about how parties impact you.